Alrighty folks, we are back here. It's been a week. We got my cylinder heads taken care of. We got new valve springs put in them. We lapped the valves, and then the surfaces for the exhaust manifold and on the cylinder head and intake manifold, those are all nice and clean. A buddy of mine at work, or a coworker I should say, Steven, shout out Steven. Steven literally took them home one night, brought them back the next day, and they were done. So shout out Steve, you're a true MVP in this process, but let me show you what we got going on. All right, so here we got just stock E7 small block Ford heads. They're gonna have the trick flow valve spring upgrade. Super nice. Steve actually deburred my exhaust runners here to try and prevent hot spots and things like that. But otherwise, he cleaned and lapped the valves, and as you can see, the surface here on the cylinder head is nice and smooth. So those are good, ready to go. We got the engine block deck all cleaned off. That's looking pretty good. We cleaned the tops of the pistons off of all the carbon and stuff like that, so those are looking fresh. Yeah, buddy. So now we're gonna flip the motor upside down, clean up the oil pan surface. The newest thing with that is my cousin Jason over at JSR Fabrications welded in this steel bung. It's got a 5/8 barb fitting for my oil drain. So that's dialed in right where On3 would have wanted you to put the bung. So that's gonna be freaking nice. And so yeah, we're moving, ready to start resealing. Otherwise, yeah, we're just gonna get the oil pan mating surface cleaned up and start throwing this thing back together. Cool, so got the oil pan kind of loosely mounted to let the RTV sit. Now we got the head surface clean, acetone. We're gonna slap some gaskets on this thing, slide the heads on it, and start reassembling the valve train. Turbo.
Sick. Yeah.
Yeah, I got the intercooler and stuff all mounted up over there.
So are we gonna be doing burnouts tonight, or what do you think?
All right, folks, we got the heads torqued down. We went 50, 65, and then 80, going inside out. Either way, one of the two. They're torqued. They're all torqued down. We got the heads on, folks. Let's get these push rods dialed in. Get the rocker arms on, tighten those down. We'll slap the valve covers on it and we'll be complete here. All right, so rockers are on, all of them nice and torqued. We're looking good, folks. We got stuff loosely mocked up here, and it looks like a turbo motor. We're making some huge progress before we head out for the night, but yeah, engine's sealed, engine's assembled, injectors are in, pretty sweet. So we made pretty good progress last night. Got the manifolds kind of mocked up here. Everything's loosely bolted in place just to make sure everything should work pretty good. Wastegate will be right here. That's gonna be nice. It says we gotta mount the turbo before mounting everything to the engine. So that'll be kind of interesting. Definitely a two-man job, but nonetheless, shouldn't be too bad. So we're gonna get that started and yeah, just keep on moving here. Alright. We got our gasket material on. Time to mount the turbo header. Directions say to mount the turbo up, so we got it mounted up. Just gonna toss this on real quick.
So why don't they do this from the factory?
All right, so we got the turbo fully mocked up. We're waiting on the RTV to kind of set a little bit. It said to wait an hour before final torquing, so we're doing that. But got the spark plugs installed here. We got the wastegate installed, hot side piping. A good tip here is we got the V-bands kind of tight, and then we came down to the flex pipe, and this is about the best we could get it. And so we're wondering, we may need to modify this if we do develop an exhaust leak, but for now it is fully mounted. We got the turbo clocked, all good to go. Got the air filter on it. Yeah, probably transferred over to the cherry picker. Get the clutch and flywheel stuff knocked out. Then we're gonna work on putting this thing back into the car. So one additional thing we might recommend that I will be doing is getting some heat shield for this oil drain, because as you guys can see, it's pretty much resting on the V-band, so it's gonna get nice and toasty. Don't want an oil fire, so we found that to be kind of an oversight on their part. For not including this, but we'll get some heat wrap or something to keep the heat off of this oil drain. All right, so Ben's gonna show us how it's done here. We got some good old-fashioned Franz Texas toast to press this pilot bearing out. So he's gonna jam some of this Texas toast into here, pound a 12mm socket with an extension, and the bread is going to press this pilot bearing out of the crankshaft. And then once that's done, we'll get this rear main seal out, clean that area. We got a new rear main seal going in. Hopefully no oil leaks here, folks. We took the precautions, we're taking our time. We're really hoping for no leaks. So that's what we're gonna try and accomplish here. Once those seals and the pilot bearing are in, we're gonna mount the flywheel. We'll be rocking. Yep, we're just gonna stuff. Slam the socket in, pound it in, get a little more compressed, and we're basically just forming a form of kind of hydraulic press. Just get the bread behind that bearing, and it's gonna force it out of here.
All right, so we're getting a little movement here. You can see it's sliding out. So just keep tapping her in. Pro tip, don't go in too far. Your socket will get stuck. Always add a little more bread.
See you guys, live action. Show them that little pro tip, Ben, what you got in the socket.
Yeah, fill it up first. That way, otherwise the first few times you'll just keep having to pull it out and fill it up. Takes more bread than you think, probably at least close to 2 pieces.
Yep. Shout out Franz Texas Toast.
One more.
Bread. Take your time, be patient,
One more
fellas.
here.
Pack that sucker with bread.
Real quick.
Oh yeah, there it comes. See you go. Yeah.
Ba-bam.
Little kick action in there.
Nice.
You're good to go.
Sweet.
Clean her
All
up.
right, let's get this cleaned out. Get the rear main resealed. Slap the flywheel and clutch on it.
Your bread
Yeah, so
everywhere.
Brian's got the pro tip for cleaning up the mess here. Show him, Brian.
Yeah, you just take your cup that you keep your bolts in.
You
and
got
a
a
little
pick.
screwdriver.
Brian's used a small screwdriver here.
Yeah, you just gently pick it out.
Yep, make sure not to score the surface in there for the bearing, so don't wedge it and pry against it or anything.
Yeah,
Just be
gingerly.
slow and steady.
Yeah, they're all cleaned out. Wipe her out, spray her out, put a little mineral spirits in there.
Get her nice and clean.
Side.
Popped it out.
Ba-bam.
I was struggling, they came in with cleanup crew. Nice.
Soft screwdriver, get you a little hole
On the
one
So
inside.
making sure So we're getting the spec stage 3 clutch installed here. This is actually Ben's old clutch that he was running. This thing pulls wheelies, so we know it's gonna be holding up to the horsepower. So getting that all mounted up, got the flywheel torqued down, got the dowels switched from the old flywheel, pounded those out, stuffed those into the new one. So now we're all lined up, good to go. Looking good.
Got it.
Dial.
Motor's in.
Motor's in.
All right, well, thought it was pretty good. Had to remove the sway bar, had to remove the starter, get the starter wiring, all that stuff out of the way. Definitely took us a little bit, but we got the motor kind of mounted in. Most of the bolts are tight. Once we get the motor up, we're gonna do final torque on the motor mounts and such, but bell housing bolts are tight. It's all stabbed in. Oh yeah, got it all mounted up. Well, as much as we tried to get it fired up this weekend, we're gonna have to settle with just getting the engine in. Everything's sealed up really, really nice, and don't really think there's gonna be too much issue here. Get the wastegate mounted, blow-off valve mounted, get the cold side piping ran. Still got to put the front clip back on, but hopefully that should just kind of fit into place. But yeah, just had some bolts fight us. Took us a little while, but yeah, we'll call it there, and we'll be back. If you liked the video, make sure to hit that like button down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We've got one more part to the turbo install series coming for you, but we've got a ton more of turbo content coming after that. So stay tuned, and as always, stay rippin'.